is the 8th episode of the 5th series. Another episode that focuses on Percy, and this time him having to deal with a ram and some naughty boys. But is it entertaining enough for it to be one of Percy's best episodes? Let's dive right in. One summer evening, Percy is fed up with the smell of fish after working at the docks all day. He asks his driver to have a washdown, but there is not enough time because the Fat Controller is waiting for him at the shed. While there, the Fat Controller announces a festival of flowers and that a sign saying Best Dressed Station shall be awarded to the winner. He also tells the engines to help out with the arrangements. Thomas and Toby discuss their favourite stations, Farquhar and Maithwaite, respectively. Toby then asks Percy which is his favourite, but Percy is too tired to think properly and therefore says the docks by mistake. Thomas can see why when he notices Percy's fishy smell, but Toby laughs saying that the docks are full of fish and not flowers. This makes Percy cross, saying that Arsdale End is his favourite since it's Toby's real home, and then rudely explains why he likes it, whenever he's not there to say he's silly. He then wishes Toby good night in an unnecessary manner as he enters the sheds, leaving Toby feeling sad and hurt by Percy's attitude. Following a washdown the next morning, Percy collects some trucks loaded with vegetables and flowers. His driver explains that they will be displayed on Maithwaite's platform. On the way, Percy sees Harold and questions why he is buzzing about. Suddenly, Percy is stopped by a ram on the tracks. Percy now worries that he will be late and realises that Harold was trying to warn him, but his fireman knows just what to do. He lures the ram off the track with some cabbage leaves and Percy soon makes his way again. When Percy arrives at Maithwaite, the station master tells them the ram has a reputation for always being hungry. A little while later, Maithwaite is decorated with the flowers and vegetables that Percy delivered. Percy is quite confident that Maithwaite will win. He then moves into his siding and is looking forward to having a rest when he hears a commotion at the station and heads back to investigate. He discovers that the decorations have been ruined and Percy's driver and the passengers suspect that the mess was the ram's fault. The passengers cannot get into the waiting room because of the ram. But Percy's driver also notices 3 boys inside, pleading to be let out. The station master and the passengers then realise that the boys vandalised the station and that the ram was just blocking them in the waiting room so that they would do no more damage. The boys apologise for all the destruction, saying that they thought it would be fun initially and promised to put everything back the way it was. A few days later, Percy apologises to Toby for the time he was not being in the best mood, and the Fat Controller invites some of the engines to Maithwaite, winner of the Best Dressed Station Award. The Fat Controller then gives one more prize for the ram, a pumpkin, and proclaims that he will eat his hat if the ram does not like it. But the latter chance comes when Harold arrives and the wind from his rotor blades blow the Fat Controller's hat off, and the ram devours it within seconds. The Fat Controller laughs and says he would not be able to eat his hat despite his proclamation. Everyone laughs in reply, and the only sound from the ram is a contented hiccup. This is another episode that was inspired by a real-life event. This event happened during David Maidment's time as the station master of Aberbank between 1964 and 1965, when a ram inhabited the waiting room of the derelict station at Lenelem and would attack vandals who tried to enter. The Best Dressed Station competition is based on a separate event, but I haven't been able to find which particular event that was. Nothing thrilling happens in this episode, it's just another fun slice-of-life episode that features a hungry ram. And the episodes where animals take centre stage usually tend to be quite entertaining. Just look at Gremlin the dog. And it's really funny to see the ram eating the Fat Controller's hat. A great callback to the first series when the Fat Controller's hat blew off into a field and a goat ate it for tea. It's always a nice touch when they make these kind of callbacks to past episodes. And there's a goof that a lot of people have been noticing very recently over the years for this episode. And that mistake being Michelangelos' pronunciation of Farquhar, with the silent second F in the name.
My favourite station is Farquhar, said Thomas.
And until Farquhar's name came up in the CGI series, I always thought that was really how you pronounced it. So for years I always thought it was literally called Farquhar. And it's been like that for years until I watched the CGI series when they brought up Farquhar's name. Maybe this was where they got the inspiration for the Lloyd joke in the Lego Ninjago movie. And rewatching this episode brings me in mind of all the heritage stations I've been to over the years, because they would often have lovely flower displays on the platform. And it definitely puts me in mind of Pecoramo in Beer, since they have lovely gardens with beautiful flowers. And they're constantly putting updates on their Facebook page showing the progress of them tending to the garden during the closed seasons. So if Pecoramo existed on the Sodor universe, they could probably give Maithwaite a run for their money in the flower competition. This episode would also mark the first appearance of Maithwaite Station and the first time actual names of Sudrian locations have been mentioned in the TV series. In this case, Farquhar, Maithwaite and Arsdale End. Prior to this, locations would be referred to by nicknames such as the Big Station or the Harbour. But over time, various locations throughout Sodor would finally get their proper names, and this was Farquhar, Maithwaite and Arsdale End's first. And to this day I still find Percy's outburst towards Toby quite hysterical.
The docks are full of fish, not flowers. All right then, Arsdale End, said Percy. That's my home, replied Toby. That's why I like it, especially when you're there and not here saying I'm silly. Good night.
This gives me the impression that Percy's had to put up with so much shit through his years on Sodor, and at this point he's finally had enough of it and will just stand up for himself. And in a way it harbours back to the episode Duck Takes Charge, where Duck taught Percy to stand up to himself from the big engines. And this must be the first time in the TV series we've seen Percy this angry with another character. In fact, the more I look at Series 5, it seems like in most episodes all the engines have a bone to pick with each other, since they're often arguing with each other and making rude comments about each other. It's basically the series taking the whole frenemy thing to a whole new level with the engine's insults. But as another one of those funny episodes for the TV series that I find myself rewatching countless times, a lot more in my adult years. It's another one that I highly recommend checking out if you haven't seen it in years. It's easily among one of the most entertaining episodes of the 5th series, and if you love the sight of beautifully decorated station platforms, then this is definitely the episode to go to.